and I just wanted to let you know that we are going to get started in just a few moments. So if you can hear me all right, then let me know. If not, so we can make some adjustments, because I want to make sure that you can hear me just fine. And remember that you have an area to write down some questions below you. So just make sure that if you want me to answer some questions, that you're going to be writing down those questions, and we can communicate with one another from time to time, okay? So we'll go on in just a few minutes. We'll see you soon. Hang in there, okay? Just here. Always working a little bit to the very end, right? Alrighty. Now, you do know that tonight we'll be talking about freeing yourself from the past. So if there's anything that is kind of lingering still, whether it's just for a short period or for a long period of time since you were a child, a young adult, whatever, but let's talk about these things. And it's really important that we free ourselves from that past and we let ourselves move forward. So, just think of those questions and see how it can make a change for you, all right? Give me 1 second here. Nope. Love you. Okay, I'm back. So, welcome everyone to the webinar today, and I'm so happy that you're here joining us, and I'm looking forward to being able to have a really good discussion. Sometimes I feel... welcome everyone to the webinar today, and I'm so happy that you're here joining us, and I'm looking forward to being able to have a really good discussion. There. Now, can you hear me? No, you still can't hear me. So I'm wondering about the mic that I've got to switch on here. Hold on 1 second. I will get this going for you. I'm back, I think. Okay. All right, good. I'm happy to know that I'm back. For a little while, it was I was hearing a sound about myself, and now I think we're okay. So, but we're okay. Okay, then let's get going. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so I'm happy that you're here joining me tonight. I have a lot of information that I really would like to cover because freeing your past is a pretty big subject, and it's one that I value very much. As you may have read on the email that I sent out, it's the one thing that I feel set me free. Being able to do some techniques or some applications, tools that I learned along the way from other places, not just Silva, but it's a combination of things. I always tell people that Silva is the one program that makes you, really empowers you to make great changes in your life. And it's also one of those great programs that when you know how to use the Silva method, everything else you apply, whether it be hypnosis or neuro-linguistic programming, or whether you're applying Reiki or you're doing your tapping, everything else works better. I know that firsthand because I do everything. I love all that's out there. I think that so many proponents of the movement of higher consciousness have so much great information, and I, for one, honor that. And I think by having Silva under your belt, you will be able to achieve everything that you want and greater than that. So that being said, when I started to really work on freeing myself from the past, we're going back a lot of years. I really started maybe focusing a lot of time and energy on this. It was back about, I would say maybe 30, 35 years. And for me, I know I told you I was going to say something that was maybe very personal to me, and I don't usually talk about this very much because it is that personal to me. But as a very young girl, a little girl actually, I was, a victim of a sexual predator, and it went on for several years, and it's one of those really difficult things to talk about. But I think it's necessary to say it because I think a lot of people go through that. And maybe people more of my generation, back in maybe the 50s and 60s and so on, that, I don't think we were as open to discuss these things. There were still like bad taboos that would happen to people, or especially young people or children, because children can't defend themselves. They don't know how to protect themselves. They don't know how to go to evaluate the right and the wrong, especially when maybe you're being the victim of someone who you know or care or even love, for that matter. Someone who's close to the family, someone who's a trusted friend. And that can be very challenging. But nevertheless, that was what happened to me. So as you can see, it's not that I had the most idyllic, perfect upbringing. I had an upbringing like everybody else did. And as a little girl, you don't talk about these things. You're afraid to talk about these things. You're afraid to tell your parents what's going on because you're threatened by the perpetrator. You're afraid to say something because you feel that you're the bad person. You are the guilty one. You're causing it. You're all those things. And some of you may have gone through something like this. And if you have, I share those sentiments. And if it's something other than that, then there's something that really connects us along the way. There's bad experiences or traumatic experiences in the past, affect us maybe differently. And although there may be different kinds of experiences, they have something very much in common. They're deep. They're deeply rooted. They seem to live with you for a long, long time, predominantly because we give them life. As long as we don't release them and let them go, we hold on to them and they grow and fester inside us and they grow inside us and they occupy space, it seems, until sometimes it can smother you. Completely smother you. And that's kind of how I felt, in my late 20s, early 30s. I do believe that that experience as I was growing up that lasted several years before I started being able to be strong enough and old enough to defend myself. But that experience really changed my life and my view about myself, my self-confidence, my self-worth. And it really lingered on with me for the longest time. And I used to feel that I wasn't good enough, or that I was dirty, that that I was marred by something ugly, and I couldn't be like the rest of the people having fun or excelling or just living a happy, healthy, wholesome life, because something was deeply wrong with me because of what I had gone through. So I had one bad relationship after another, and I had failed marriages, and I was sick a lot, and I got to the point that I was so miserable. I was really, really miserable, and I just couldn't talk about it. I felt I was smothered, and I couldn't talk about it. And thank God that I'm so grateful that God sent some people in my path that were very gentle souls, very, very special friends of mine that were also very equipped therapeutically. They were therapists and they knew a lot of information. And these friends of mine mostly practiced NLP. So at that time, when I was going through a really, really hard time, and they asked what's going on, and we started to talk about it with great difficulty. I started to open up about my experience as a child. Now you're talking about an experience that had happened 25 years prior, but it was consuming me 25 years later. It was just the weirdest, most awful thing. And when I started talking about it, I broke down, and I was in tears. I could barely say anything about it. And little by little, they were very, very talented and very professional and very equipped to handle my situation. And so we did at that moment, way back when, I remember, we did an NLP technique called the theater technique, where I was able to use a lot of like visualizations and modalities, mental modalities, mind modalities of what you see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, like your mind faculties, and use them in a very special way. And all I did, and they got me through this, and since then I've become an NLP master practitioner as well. Not that I do that in place of Silva. I love Silva, but occasionally it has a very, very valuable place. I think NLP is very valuable. And what they had me do is go into an internal state, because I knew how to meditate. And when I went into that internal state, what I did was basically run I imagined myself, first of all, to be in a theater. And this is called the theater technique, I believe. And so to be inside a dark theater, to sit in the center seat of the center row, where the lights are off, and I'm sitting there in front of the big cinema screen. And I started a movie in black and white about my experience as a child, that it was so traumatic to me, that really pretty much screwed me up for a long, long time, or allowed to screw me up for a long, long time. And I started this movie playing in black and white. And right when the worst thing's about to happen, you jump into the movie in black and white, you transform it into color, and you rewind it, to starting point. You open your eyes and you disassociate. In other words, you look around outside the window, maybe the pattern of the print on the carpet. I have an aquarium here. I might look at my fish, just to disconnect for a little while. Then you take a deep breath and you do it again. Only this time, you run the same movie in black and white, and the value for it being black and white is that you feel more, more disassociated from the experience. You don't want to completely relive the experience all over again. So you want to have some distance, and making it black and white helps to have that distance. So you run the movie again in black and white, only this time you change certain modalities. So the perpetrator might be maybe dressed up in a little bunny rabbit costume with bunny rabbit ears, hopping around and buck teeth. And so it's not the same exact image, but right before the worst thing happens, you jump into the movie again, turn it into color, rewind, and feel yourself like going backwards, open your eyes, and you disassociate again by thinking of something that's not related for a few moments. Then you do it again. This time, not only do you run the movie in black and white again with the bunny rabbit, or the perpetrator dressed like in a bunny rabbit suit, but maybe it's also raining daisies. So that's another element that you're looking at. So now it's raining daisies. He's hopping around in a bunny rabbit suit, and right before the worst thing is about to happen, you jump into the movie again, turn it into color, rewind, open your eyes. And you might want to do it another time, maybe a fourth time. This time, Now he has a bunny rabbit suit and it's raining daisies, and maybe there's carnival music in the background, da, 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 or something silly like that. And once again, before the worst thing's about to happen, then you jump in the movie, turn it into color, rewind, and open your eyes. You want to evaluate from 1 to 10 how you feel before and after. You want to say, okay, right now I feel like I'm at an 8 or a 9. I'm getting choked up even trying to talk about this. And then that's fine. And once you do the process over and over again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, because it only takes a few seconds to do anyway, then you evaluate your feelings again. How do you now experience that memory? And you're going to notice that you're able to desensitize the effect that it has on you. It's not that you forget what happened, but it doesn't seem to impact you in quite the same way. Now, why would this be valuable? For me, it was extremely valuable because for once I was able to confront it and do something about it. I felt empowered with tools to lessen its grip on me and have more control of my own experience, for that matter. Not only that, but once I was able to confront it, then then it allowed me to talk about it more and in more clear ways. I was able to articulate the experience and be able to work through it with these friends of mine who were therapists, and I was fortunate that they were, and be able to desensitize it. The more I was able to talk about it, the less a monster it became, and the more control I had of that experience instead of it having control of me, because it was controlling everything about my life. It was controlling my relationships, my health, my ability to earn a living. It was controlling my attitude. It was controlling everything about my life. And I was so tired of living that life. I was tired of being in bad relationships. I was tired of being sick. I was tired of being broke. And it was one of those things that I said, enough. I mean, enough. I had literally gone past the tipping point where I was seeking and yearning for a better life. I was yearning to be like some people who I grew up with like my peers, people I went to school with. They were smiling and happy and great relationships and healthy and thriving. I didn't feel like I was thriving. I didn't feel healthy. I was not happy. I was miserable. So once I started to do that and was able to talk about it, then I was able to desensitize it and really get rid of that monster that had grown within me, inside of me, that I allowed to grow for not having the proper tools to deal with it more effectively. As time went by, I started to work a little bit more and more on it, desensitizing it more and more. Anytime an aspect of it popped up and it just kind of yanked at my gut, I felt like I had hooks inside my solar plexus. And every time I felt that horrible sensation inside me, immediately I would go back and do this theater technique. Later, I learned another technique, which is called EMDR, eye movement reprogramming, let me see, EMDR. Or EMDR, yeah, eye movement desensitizing reprogramming process, something like that. And so basically what you do with that is that you recall the experience and you recall it as vividly as you can. You bring in the images, you bring in the sounds, you bring in anything that comes to mind, the feelings, everything, and you play it in your mind. And once you have it very clear in your mind and you're connected to it, you evaluate once again from 1 to 10. How does this memory, this trauma, this past experiences, how is it affecting me? How powerful, how strong is it? And I would say if it's like a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then yes, and by all means, I mean, use it for any value, but the stronger it is, the more benefit you're probably going to get out of it. And what you do in this technique is that it's really important that you keep your head forward. And typically it's done to you, but I have learned that you can do it to yourself as well, easily. And what you want to do is that you want to move your hands all the way far up one corner, like your arm stretched out, and you go to one angle. You don't move your head up, you just move your eyes, just your eyes. And so you move your eyes from upper corner all the way down. Up, down, up, down. Now, I always tell people, try to hold on to that, the sounds, the images, the feelings of that trauma or that past that's holding you back from moving forward. But it's going to be very difficult. I just want you to know that. Okay, but just do it, you know, as best as you can. And you're going to run your hands at this angle, up, down, up, down, up, down, as fast as your eyes can move. I would say, I don't know, you'll feel a shift inside you, but I usually go 20 to 30 times, okay? And let your hands guide you. Notice how I'm not moving my head at all. I'm only moving my eyes, okay? Once you do it approximately maybe 20 to 30 times, or you feel that shift, then go the other way. Up, down, up, down. Now, it doesn't matter really what side you're going to start with so much. Don't get caught up on that. Just now go the other direction. When you do that for another 20, 30 times, then you want to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Notice my eyes go all the way up, down, up, down, up, down. And quite quickly, as fast as I can go without moving my head. And finally, you go at the level of the ear. Side, 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 side. Over and over. Breathe. Just breathe. Just do this. And then when you get done, take a deep breath. Again, disconnect or disassociate. Look at the fish in the pond, outside the window, whatever it is that you want to do. And then you evaluate once again. Now, from 1 to 10, what is it? You're probably going to notice that if you had an 8, 9, 10, it may have come down to a 5 or 6, maybe even lower. Now, do it again. If you want to lessen that kinesthetic grip it's got that it has on you, then just do it again. It doesn't take that long to do, and you can do it easily in the privacy of your own home. When you go to the bathroom, lock yourself in your office, you know, in your bedroom, whatever it is. And it doesn't take long to do, and you can do it very easily. So you do it again, you know, each way, as I mentioned, and then again evaluate from 1 to 10 now, or now from 1 to 7 or 8, and now how much slower has it gotten? Sometimes people will comment like, I can live with a 2 or 3. I can't live with an 8, 9, or 10. And again, when it's reduced that much, that then you're allowed to confront that situation, maybe talk to someone to help lessen the rest of it if you need to. If you don't need to, then that's fine. Then you just go about your life, and you're able to manage your state very effectively as you go. There's times that little, like in essence of a memory comes up, and I like, you know, I just don't like how it makes me feel, or I know it's something that it's still lingering there that I need to address a little bit more. So I probably do again the EMDR or the theater technique. The EMDR is just so quick and easy. I tend to use that one more than the theater technique. But when I first started to desensitize those monsters of my past, to free myself of those monsters of my past, I first started with the theater technique. I don't think that the EMDR had come into existence yet. It was probably on the verge of it. I think that NLP technique came before the EMDR. Then once I did that, for me, it was really important to take it to the next level. And the next level was to forgive. Forgive myself. Forgive myself for what I believed was the role I played in those past experiences. And I'm not just talking about the sexual molestation. I'm talking about other things that I did after that in relationships or with my siblings, or, you know, whatever it was, things, you know, in bad behavior that I may have engaged in, or whatever it was. Forgive myself, because you have to. I mean, you're only doing the best you know how to do at any given moment. And for me, that past was clouded from those prior experiences, I feel. And I needed to forgive myself, because to forgive means to repent and to have a change of heart. And or to repent means to have a change of heart, a change of mind. And it was to repent those things I did in the past and be able to forgive myself, because never again would I do those things. Never again would I allow those things to happen. Never again would I behave in those ways or engage in certain activities like that. I wouldn't do it. It's not who I am anymore. I've healed through that. I've grown up through that. I've matured. I have a better understanding. I've studied. I've learned. I have dedicated my life to being able to say authentically that I am healthy in spirit, mind, body, and emotions. And I've studied the process so deeply so that I could share it with others along the way. And that's why I feel that I can speak about it, because I always tell people I have nothing. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. And if I share what my experiences with you, maybe I can help somebody along the way to also get past, their past and free themselves from that past. So again, I first started with the theater technique, and then I went on to the EMDR, and then I went on to forgiveness. And I'm hoping that at the end of towards the end of this workshop, in a few minutes, maybe about 20 minutes or so, I would really like to be able to do a meditation on forgiveness, because it's really important that we begin to release ourselves and those people who we feel that have hurt us or we have hurt. Everybody, you and them, everybody is only doing the best they know how to do at any given moment. And it's important that you forgive yourself for things that you did or things that you didn't do. It's past. The past is past. That's why it's just back there. All we have to work with is the now, right here, this very moment. And right now, we're good human beings. We're honorable. We have a lot of value. We serve others. We help our loved ones. We help our coworkers. We go to work. We are striving to thrive, to do better and better through time. We think positively. We do our meditations. Perhaps we pray as well. I know I pray every day. And there's a lot to be said about who you are, or who you are in the now, at this very moment, which is really all we have. But a lot of times if we allow the energy of the past to hold us back, it's really hard to move forward and to be able to really achieve the life of our design, the life we've always dreamed of, if we're being pulled back with those hooks in the past. So we need to forgive. Forgive yourself and forgive others, or ask to be forgiven by others. Because sometimes, we go through life thinking that we cause harm in somebody else, and we just never had it in us to ask for forgiveness. And it's an important process to go through, and it's one that you might find really great value in as well. I remember when I started to do the forgiveness exercise with that perpetrator that my childhood experience with a sexual molestation. I never in my mind imagined ever that I would have the courage to approach that person and talk about it. It was something that at one time I was so terrified at just the thought of doing. And once I did the forgiveness exercise, and I did it more than once. Once I did it, I just, felt, without even thinking about it much. One day I was passing by an office building where I know that person worked, and I saw that his automobile was there, so I stopped. Never would I have imagined I would be able to do that. So I knocked on the door, and it was after hours, which may have not been the best thing to do, but I did. And I went in, and I just said, I just want to say something really quickly. And I said, what you did to me when I was a little girl was very wrong, but I forgive you. And I release you, and I let you go. I set you free to go about your life. And that chapter of my life is closed and done with. But I forgive you. And he stayed shocked and looked at me, and he said, I don't know what you're talking about. I denied everything. Denied everything. And I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. You can deny whatever you want. You know in your heart of hearts what you did. I know what you did. And I still forgive you. Whether you admit it or don't admit it, I forgive you. And that was it. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean that you condone the wrongdoing, that you condone those actions. It only means that the action is past. And for your sake, for your freedom, for your health, you need to let it go. You need to release it and let it go. And it's really important that you release it and let it go, because in all actuality, it's the forgiver who is freed in the forgiveness, in the process of forgiving. So you are the ones you're the one who's freeing yourself from that past. Now, that other person may or may not, admit it, acknowledge it, and you know what? It does not matter. You're going to find out that it doesn't matter. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go out there to everyone in your past and say, oh, forgive me, or I forgive you. No, I mean, you do what's right for you. You do what feels good for you. For me, it just happened. The opportunity was there without thinking. I just followed through as if I was being taken by some other energy inside me, and it was wonderful. When that happened, I felt so freed. It was amazing. I felt healthy right there and then, right on the spot. Really, quite frankly, I think it's Louise Hay who says that forgiveness, the act of forgiveness, is referred to as the surprise healer. You start to heal all aspects of yourself, your spirit, your mind, your body, your emotions. All of you starts to heal. And it's really amazing also when you're able to ask others for forgiveness for something that you did. And again, we're doing all of this subjectively. We're doing it mentally. I'm not saying you have to go to them physically and say, will you forgive me for something I did? Because they might not even remember. A lot of times people carry this guilt with them for 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years, thinking that they did something wrong to someone or that they just did a wrong action, where all along nobody was affected. Nobody even remembers. And for 40 years, you're carrying this weight of this guilt. And guilt is one of the most severe stressors that works against your immune system and makes you ill. So we need to release all these things, the things that poke their head onto your life, the things that make themselves known by your feelings, by your fear, by how you're able to handle or not handle relationships. I mean, how you're living, whether you're living joyously or not living joyously, or healthy or ill. These are the things that you want to address first and foremost. So what we're going to do in this exercise is that we're going to do several things. One is that we're going to forgive ourselves for something that we did or did not do. Another is that we're going to forgive an organization, a person, or a group of people, because sometimes maybe, I was fired, and those people, how dare them, or whatever. And we carry that grudge with us, and we're only hurting ourselves. And also we're going to ask to be forgiven. And we're going to be able to move forward with these very, as my dear friend Ken Kasha would say, director of Silva training director, and also our #1 best instructor in the world. He says these are very powerful tools, and tools that can really truly make a difference. So the first two tools that we talked about, the theater technique and the EMDR, the eye movement desensitizing process, those tools are to lessen the energy of the grip, like the kinesthetic grip that those past memories have on you. And once you lessen the energy, you're able to articulate or talk about it, release it, make it less of a monster, and then you're able to do the forgiveness a lot more easily, or go to a friend, get some help, or find a therapist if you need to. They're there for a reason. So I always say, if they're going to help you to free yourself even more, fine. So they're there for a reason. And this forgiveness technique may be all you need to do. So you decide. You'll go by how you begin to feel. But I really do want to hear from you. I really want to hear about how these tools are going to help you, or how they're helping you along the way. Okay, so just to recap very quickly, the theater technique is that you create a mental movie in black and white of that traumatic experience. It could be something like what I went through, or it could be maybe you saw some kind of a murder or an accident, and it could be a rape situation. It could be post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, it could be anything. When your parents were fighting, or that maybe you were being abused physically. I mean, I don't know. Typically, a lot of these traumatic experiences happen when you're really, really young, because again, you don't have a way to defend yourself from them. So the theater technique is to first create a mental movie in black and white, and once you roll the film in this dark theater where you're sitting in the middle of the theater looking at the film, right before the worst thing is going to happen. You don't want to go through the bad experience, but right before it happens, that's when you jump into the film, turn it into color, and rewind, open your eyes, and disassociate. And then every time you do it again and again, you change some element, whether it's a visual or an auditory or a kinesthetic element about the movie itself, whether it's the bunny rabbit suit or raining daisies or carnival music or it's pouring fish or whatever. Something that's very strange and different, but you keep rewinding, and then you evaluate how much the experience has lessened. And once you're able to, like, again, reduce, minimize that monster, it's so easy to get rid of it. But it's really hard when it's a big monster that's consuming a lot of space inside of you. Okay? And then the other one was the EMDR, starting from one angle to the other, in a diagonal, and then do that 20 to 30 times, and then from the other side downward, then up, down, side, side. And again, you're able to evaluate from 1 to 10, before and after, how much it has gone. First, it's maybe an 8, 9, and then later, after you do it, maybe it's gone down to 6 or 7, or even better than that. You can always do it once or twice or 3 times. At any time something unpleasant pops up, something that really, like, gets you, makes you feel a jealousy, an anger, an envy situation, and I mean anything that's not positive in nature, you can do the EMDR to lessen that feeling, and then really think through and say, you know what, it's not all that bad. You know, I mean, it's okay. I mean, this, you know, I can handle these situations. So these are great tools to work with. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask me. I'm really happy to answer some of your questions and be able to just help you along the way. It means a lot to me that you're able to get past these situations, because I know that you will be freed from this. All right? Okay? I hope that it's helping you already to free yourself from that past. But for now, because we have about maybe another 20 minutes to do maybe an exercise and then start talking about some of the questions, answer them, and then kind of wrap up, I want to get ready. I want us to get ready for the mental exercise, all right? And really just know that when you do these techniques, even if you make a mistake, they still have benefits. So don't try to make, to do them exactly right or so perfectly right. You will find, and I'll look for some little graphs that I can post on this sheet here. That way you can have things to work with, that little reminders. But even if you do them, like with a slight mistake, you're still going to get benefit. The main thing is that you are really desiring to lessen the grip of your past, those negative memories, and be able to take off those hooks that are holding you back from moving forward. Because if you don't release them, if you don't forgive, they have the power to stir up suspicions and jealousies and anger and all of these things that you don't need. You don't need this. They're just holding you back from moving forward in the way that you want to move forward, with love and happiness, with health and abundance, with all that is good, all that is awaiting you. But you can't get there until you go through this with those traumatic past experiences or memories, okay? So, ready for the exercise? What we're going to do in this exercise is pretty simple. We're going to enter with a 3 deep breath method. The first breath is to relax your body. The second is to relax your mind. And the third is just to cozy in your inner state. And once we do that, and I'll have it in front of me to read it off just in case. Once we do that, we'll do a 10 to 1 countdown to deepen. And the 10 to 1 countdowns are for you to feel deeper and deeper within. I often tell people to imagine that they're in an elevator on the 10th floor, and with every number, they feel themselves descending and going deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, we've said before that when you meditate, you have a nice, comfortable sitting position, feet flat on the floor. Your hands can be on the armrest or on your lap, palms up or palms down. So the way I'm sitting like this is perfect for a meditation, okay? When you take a deep breath, it's a deep belly breath. Okay? And as you release and relax tensions, just go from head and move slowly downward, all the way down to your toes. When you relax your mind, you're going to relax your mind by thinking of a tranquil and passive scene. And it's even better if you're in the experience of tranquility of that scene. Just be there for a few moments and I'll guide you, okay? Once we do the 10 to 1 countdown and we're very deeply relaxed, I'm going to say a few positive affirmations that you can resonate with, and then we're going to go through the process of bringing to mind a time when, and picturing it on your mental screen that's past your eyelids and away from you, that you're going to project an image of yourself on that screen of a time in your life that needs to be healed, that needs to be forgiven. A time when you made a mistake, or made a wrong choice, or what you felt was a wrong choice. And it's really important that we understand that. Sometimes we felt it was a wrong choice or a mistake, and really, quite frankly, maybe it wasn't. And the big scheme of things, it might not have been a wrong thing at all. So we're going to imagine, whoops, let me go back here. Imagine that that time and bring it to mind. So I want you to start thinking about those times in your past when maybe you feel like you need to forgive yourself over that. And then let that image play out. Just let it play out in your mind. Remember what happened, how you felt, were there any repercussions, what happened, words that were being said, whatever. Just let it play out. And notice how it makes you feel, how that memory makes you feel. And sometimes you might feel a little emotional. That's fine. Feelings are part of the process of healing. So let them go, release them. If you release tears, it's a cleansing process, so that's okay as well. So just go ahead and release those tears if you need to. Embrace those feelings. And now you can stop the picture and wherever it is at that moment and look at the younger you, because we are talking about a past experience. So it could be a younger you, a much younger you, a child you, it doesn't matter what it is. And keep in mind that whatever you are now releasing, forgiving, remember that while you may want that to be different or to have been different, that the best that you knew how to do was what you did at that time, okay? So be easy on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Today, you probably make a different choice, make different decisions. Now, with a great amount of compassion, you're going to step into the picture, the way you are now in your current state, and go over to the younger you, and you're going to give yourself a big, loving hug. You're going to hold yourself, and you're going to say to yourself, I love you. I forgive you. I embrace you. I hold you close to me. You are beloved, in whom I am well pleased. And you say it with those emotions, with a lot of love. Now, for a moment, feel yourself as that younger person being embraced. Feel the embrace. Feel that acceptance, that understanding. This is the truth. This is very healing. Feel that. Feel the peace. And when you're ready, the current you can find yourself back in your chair looking at the younger you. Know that forgiveness is occurring. And once again, you say to the younger you, I love you, I forgive you. Let all parts of you forgive yourself for any errors or mistakes that have occurred, and say to yourself mentally, I love and forgive myself for any errors or mistakes that have occurred. I look at myself with love and compassion. I let go, I forgive. I choose peace and joy, love and compassion. And then when you're ready, you allow the scene of the younger you that it's on your mental screen to begin to move away from you, farther and farther away, so that it becomes very little, and it finally becomes into like a little black dot way off in the distance. And then you imagine this big, beautiful golden sun coming up over the horizon. You've seen it before hundreds of times. It nourishes the earth, provides us with warmth and love and peace and growth. And allow that little black dot to fade away into the sun so that it's just all gone. And where you once had feelings of shame or guilt or anger or self-hatred, it's now completely replaced by love, compassion, peace, and healing. Okay? So all parts of you will be healing at the same time. And then we're going to do the very same process, but then we're going to do it with an organization or a group of people or someone that you need to forgive and or you need to be forgiven by. So you can also ask for forgiveness as well. So again, it's the forgiver who is freed in the forgiveness process. I think back of a story my sister-in-law Ramona said to me some time ago, and she said that when she was a little girl, and now she's already in her mid to late 60s, but when she was a little girl, that she had given a parrot that belonged to an aunt of hers some food, some Mexican food, and that by morning the parrot was dead. And she always held the guilt that she had killed the parrot. She had never told that to anybody. She told it to me like 60 years later. She'd been carrying this guilt with her for 60 years. And I said, you know, Ramona, do you realize that parrots eat everything? You buy parrot food, they've got chilies and corn. They've got all kinds of seeds, you know, pumpkin seeds and nuts and peanuts. You know, a, a parrot has a digestive system that can tolerate just about anything. So whatever food you gave them did not kill the parrot. That's a sure thing. And she said, really? I didn't know that. And I said, that's a fact. I said, so relax, release it, let it go, forgive yourself. You didn't do anything wrong, and yet you've been carrying this guilt for so many years. And I think we've all had experiences like that. I remember someone who wrote me a note and asked for forgiveness because she had taken a piece of jewelry that I thought I had lost. And I never even knew or even suspected her of taking that jewelry. And we were young teenagers. And this is, you know, like 25 years past, and she writes me a note to forgive her. And I said, yes, I forgive you. And thank you for saying that to me. It takes a lot of courage to do that. It really does. I'm so happy that she was able to be freed from that horrible guilt that she was carrying all those years. I think she punished herself enough. And I think we tend to punish ourselves enough through time. But we have to always remember the action is past. It's way back there. It's not about the now. In the now, you're beautiful, loving human being. Embrace that. But cut those cords, those hooks, and release them to those terrible, ugly, or traumatic memories of the past. You don't need to carry them around you anymore, okay? So let's do this exercise, all right? So find a comfortable position. We'll begin this exercise with the three deep breath method. Now close your eyes. Take a deep breath, and while exhaling, relax your body completely, starting with your scalp and going slowly downward, all the way down to your toes. Release and relax tensions and pressures along the way. Take your time. Take another deep breath. And while exhaling, relax your mind by thinking of a tranquil and passive scene. Imagine this scene as if you're actually there. Enjoy this scene for a few moments. Calm your mind and feel yourself even more deeply relaxed. Take another deep breath, and while exhaling, relax yourself even more. You are now in a very deeply relaxed inner state that you can use for a purpose, any purpose you desire. To help you enter a deeper, healthier level of mind, I'm going to count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you will feel yourself going deeper and you will enter a deeper, healthier level of mind. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. At this level of mind, your physical body is healing, recharging, and rejuvenating. You are re-energizing your soul, allowing your brain to relax and brain chemicals to release chemistry that helps you to heal and that allow you to think in a positive way. Allow yourself to relax even more. Allow the healing to occur. And repeat the following statements mentally to yourself. Statements for your better health and well-being. I love and approve of myself. Everything is coming together for good in my life. As you repeat these statements, picture them as truths. Picture everything coming together for good in your life. Picture how much you love and approve of yourself. I am a radiant being filled with light and love. As you repeat that statement, imagine yourself as that radiant being filled with light and love. I am able to function in harmony physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to promote maximum benefits. My awareness in using mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits and advantages I desire. Now at this time, you will begin the process of forgiving yourself and allowing increased peace and harmony. Feel how deeply comfortable you are. Continue to breathe deeply, slowly, and rhythmically. As you focus on your mental screen that is past your eyelids and a little higher than the horizontal level of sight. Keep in mind that forgiveness brings forth peace, love, joy, and physical healing. And we forgive by understanding that we make mistakes and by releasing the past. Forgiveness is referred to as the surprise law of healing. Project an image of yourself on your mental screen of a time in your life that needs to be healed, that needs to be forgiven. A time when you made a mistake or made a wrong choice, or what you felt was a wrong choice. Allow that scene to start playing out in your mind's eye. Let it play out. Let it come now. Your mind protects you. It won't let you bring out more than you can handle. Let that image play out now. How do you feel as you experience this memory? Feelings are a beautiful process of healing. Let them go. If you release tears, that's a cleansing process. It's okay. Embrace those feelings. And now stop the picture where it is, and for a moment, look at the younger you. And keep in mind that whatever you are releasing and forgiving, remember that while you may want that to be different, that was the best that you knew how to do at that time. Now, today, you may make a different choice, but at that time, that's what you knew how to do. With a greater amount of compassion now, step into this picture the way you are now and go over to the younger you and give yourself a big hug. Could be a young adult you, a young teenager, a preteen, or a child you. Hold yourself and say to yourself, I love you. I forgive you. I embrace you. I hold you close to me. You are beloved, in whom I am well pleased. Now for a moment, feel yourself as the younger person. Feel the embrace, that acceptance, that understanding. This is the truth. This is healing. Feel that now. Feel that peace. This is the truth. When you're ready, the current you can find yourself back in the chair looking at the younger you. Know that this forgiveness is occurring. And once again, say to the younger you, I love you. I forgive you. Let all parts of you forgive yourself for any errors or mistakes that have occurred, and say to yourself mentally, I love and forgive myself for any errors or mistakes that have occurred. I look at myself with love and compassion. I let go. I forgive. I choose peace and love, joy, compassion. And when you're ready, allow the scene of the younger you that is on your mental screen to begin to move away from you, farther and farther away from you, so that it's becoming a little black dot way off in the distance. Now imagine a big, beautiful golden sun coming up over the horizon. You've seen it before 100 times. It nourishes the earth, provides us with warmth and love and peace and growth. Allow that little black dot to fade into the sun so that it's gone completely. And take a deep breath and notice that where you once had feelings of shame, guilt, or anger, or self-hatred, it's now completely replaced by love, compassion, peace, and healing. And this is so. As you heal, all life is healing. Continue to breathe deeply, slowly, and rhythmically. And now at this time, look at your mental screen once again. And this time, work on forgiving a person, a situation, or an organization that you need or want to forgive. Keep in mind that other people make the best decisions they know how to do also. And that our job is to release these negative feelings so that we are free and whole and joyful. Allow a scene to come up on your screen. Any scene you choose of a person, an event, or a situation that you now know it's time to forgive and let go. Allow this scene to start playing out. Let it play. How do you feel as you experience this memory? Embrace those feelings. Now step into the picture and go over to the person, situation, or organization and sit with them. And take some time to express your feelings. Let them know how you feel, how it affected you. It's okay. Let it go. Express those feelings to them. Release those thoughts and release your feelings. During this time, you may also ask for forgiveness from this person, situation, or organization. Take your time. When you have finished that process, imagine yourself in your chair and look at this person and or event. And with everything you know about compassion and forgiveness, look at them and say, I forgive you. I release pain and suffering. I choose peace. Please forgive me in any way if I have hurt you. All is well. All is peaceful. And when you are ready, allow the scene to begin to move away from you, farther and farther away from you, so that it's becoming a little black dot way off in the distance. Now imagine a big, beautiful golden sun coming up over the horizon. And allow that little black dot to fade into the sun now, so that it's gone. And where you once had feelings of anger, hurt, and rage, it's now completely replaced by love, compassion, peace, and healing. And it is so. You are a beloved being, a divine being. Thank you for choosing peace. Now take a deep breath. And as you exhale, and as you feel ready, you may open your eyes. You're wide awake, feeling fine and healthy, feeling better than before. Well, I hope you had a wonderful experience with this exercise. And please, if you do have any questions whatsoever about your experience, please let me know. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help, anything that I can do to help make your freedom from the past be more and more of a reality. You deserve to have it all. You deserve to have joy and love and health and abundance and peace. And live with compassion. It's a wonderful life. You deserve to be free from that past. It doesn't serve you any more than perhaps the lessons learned from that past. So I'm hoping that you had an amazing experience, that you're able to gain freedom from your past, and that the tools that you learned tonight, whether it be the theater technique or the eye movement desensitizing reprogramming process, or the meditation on forgiveness, have all helped you to achieve that, or will help you to achieve that. I love that forgiveness exercise. I have done it quite a few times already. It's an exercise that was given to me to use in the Civil Manifesting course by Dr. Joan McGillicuddy, and she's a Silva instructor in the Casa Grande area. And I'll be there in about maybe 3 or 4 weeks, maybe it's about 3 weeks or so. I'm going to be there to do a Silva manifesting with her. But she also has some beautiful meditations that we have on our catalog, as does Ken Kasha as well. He's got some amazing products as well. So if you haven't listened to their products, whether it's Ken Kasha's or Doctors Tony Estrada and Joe McGillicuddy, you're in for a great surprise. So check them out, okay? Because they're really healing, they're very soothing, and they really will help you to expand your experience, your positive, wonderful, joyous, healthy, abundant experience with the Silva tools and techniques. So, guys, I love you all. And if you have any questions, maybe even later, I'll be more than happy to go through them and answer your questions. And I want to say, as Dora Morrill says, I too feel very blessed to have you here with me tonight. I'm so happy that we're here together. And I believe that in 2 weeks, I believe it's May 8th. It's not May 8th, is it? March 8th. I believe we have our next webinar, free webinar. And some of you have been asking to have a webinar on finding your soulmate or your perfect partner. I found my husband that way. I used the technique my father taught me to find my perfect partner, and we have now been together for 24 years, and it is an amazing, loving relationship that gets more loving with every day, every moment that passes. He truly is my soulmate. Be happy to share that with you if you want to come on over again and meet up. I think it's on March 8th, same time, same place. So again, thank you for being here tonight, and I love you guys, and I'm so happy that we're able to do this, and I have so much fun, just being able to share some of the tools, techniques, and I'm just want to be here to help you succeed. It's more than anything else. I want you to succeed and have a wonderful, wonderful life. So have a great, great evening. Have a great morning. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you really soon. Thank you so much for being here. Ken says he enjoyed the experience and the sharing. And Ken, thank you so much. I love you too. You're amazing. Thank you. Bye, everyone.